today we're diving into one of the biggest projects reshaping the Kansas City Metro, Panasonic's new electric vehicle plant.
That's right. This $4 billion project is a game changer for DeSoto, Kansas and the surrounding areas. And here is what you need to know. First, who? Panasonic Energy is a global leader in EV battery production. And what's going on? Well, they're building a cutting-edge EV battery manufacturing facility expected to be one of the largest in the United States. Where is this going on? It's called Astra Enterprise Park, which is a 9,000-acre redevelopment of the former Sunflower Army ammunition plant. And when is this all happening? Well, construction is already underway with operations slated to begin this year, 2025.
That's right. So, hey, stick around. We're going to break down how this project will impact DeSoto and the nearby communities like Lenexa, Shawnee, and just the greater Kansas City region as a whole. Plus, we're going to discuss what it means for housing, infrastructure, and your future if you're planning to move to this exciting area. Hey, I'm Zach Morton, and this is Max Jones, and we are on the Mojo Real Estate team, and we have been helping families move to Kansas City for over 23 years now. But we got a lot to talk about today, so let's not waste any time. Let's dive on into DeSoto, Kansas. All right. Before we jump into the economic impact, let's take a moment to show you where DeSoto is on the map.
DeSoto is nestled just west of Lenexa along the K-10 corridor. And it's about a 30-minute drive from downtown Kansas City and provides easy access to the metro area. Its location makes it a prime spot for growth, especially with the expansion of major highways and infrastructure projects.
All right, so $4 billion into a plant. Where are you going to put such a massive place? We're talking over 300 acres. So you got to go back in time just a little bit. The ground that this plant is being built on now was the Sunflower ammunition plant, where they used to make a lot of gunpowder and different propellant, which is kind of cool. When I look at it, we are replacing like old wartime manufacturing with some green energy that's going to be in these EV cars and just be a great thing for the economy and the world as a whole. So I'm super excited about that. But 300 acres, I mean, that is massive. This is Panasonic's new EV plant is going to be the biggest in the world for making these batteries. And they're not only just going to be going into Teslas, but all different kinds of car manufacturers and shipped everywhere. One of the great things about Kansas City, the DeSoto location, is they can reach by rail or by highways up to 85% of distribution to the country within 2 business days because of this location. We've got I-70 running east to west, 35 north, and then the train tracks that come right into DeSoto.
Nice. So cleaning some stuff up and bringing out with the old, in with the new. It's going to create 4,000 jobs.
Yeah, just directly right there. Wham, 4,000 jobs. And then construction, what was construction? 16,000 jobs, I think, to get this place built.
Yeah, 16,000 additional jobs. Panasonic, I think of them as DVD players or something, but I didn't realize they were such a major player in the battery manufacturing world. They make 5 million cells a day. And this is going to add 60% to that production. So it's going to double their American manufacturing capacity here at this one single plant. So it's going to be pretty amazing.
Yeah, this place is so big, like 300 acres. It's like, okay, whatever. I mean, an acre's pretty big. 300 must be really big. But we did the math on this. If you were going to build a subdivision and you had a 300-acre subdivision, you could fit 900 to 1,200 homes on quarter-acre lots inside this building. So absolutely massive. It's the biggest thing it's big.
Yeah. If you've seen Elon Musk's gigafactories, it's on par with that type of scale. So huge. And it's been underway since 2022 they started working on things.
2022. And the reason, I mean, there's a lot of reasons they picked Kansas, a lot of that location, stuff like that, but Kansas helped them by giving them an $800 million tax break to kind of bring this to Kansas. So good for you, Kansas, because this is going to create a lot of jobs. In fact, by the end of this, they're expecting this is going to grow the economy by billions of dollars a year, just in, local business coming in.
Okay, so 300 acres, that sounds like a lot. But puts that into perspective is that's not all that's going on. This is Panasonic's plant is part of a much larger project called the Astra Enterprise Park. Astra Enterprise Park is 9,000 acres, which it's hard to even fathom the size of 9,000 acres, but that's larger than the city of DeSoto itself. It's just a huge area, which is a giant business park that's being developed all around this new Panasonic development?
Yeah, it's coming in at 14 square miles, which is, like you said, not only is it bigger than DeSoto, which is pretty tiny, but even a lot of other cities around Kansas City. So it's a massive undertaking and super exciting. So we've got kind of Panasonic starting it off on the north end, and then there will be a business park built all around that and to the south. So a lot of other businesses that maybe work with Panasonic, or pretty much anybody. It's state of the art. They're putting in, right now they're doing a brand new 5-mile sewer line that runs straight to the treatment plant, so they can, handle all that. Evergy's upgrading their power line. They have direct access to the pipeline for natural gas, and of course the Kansas River's just to the north. So they've got all those resources right there. But what's even cooler is that they are putting in one of the world's biggest, or at least in North America, it's scalable, but it'll be a solar production plant to the south. And of course, they'll grow that as they need to, but they've got over 3,000 acres set aside for solar, or a solar farm. So and this will be behind the power meter. So this business park will have control of that. So I can imagine most of that power is going to go to run this business park, which is also another benefit. I will say too that Kansas was nice enough to give them no sales tax on the construction costs of developing this area, along with that $800 million tax break. So everybody's kind of going all in on this. It's something DeSoto's never. In fact, nobody in Kansas City's ever built anything like that. So it's a super exciting project. A city that did something kind of similar to this to the east, we have Lenexa that just did this. It's turned out amazing. There's mixed use, there's apartments, restaurants, bars, plus it attracts all the businesses, and it's turned out actually super amazing. And that is Lenexa City Center.
Yeah, check out our video on Lenexa. We go into the Lenexa City Center and show it off. It has other big corporations, and I think DeSoto kind of took a page out of their playbook when developing this plan, and found its biggest tenant in Panasonic. All that infrastructure is really going to go to help all of the surrounding communities, and it's amazing. There's also 2,700 acres of public park that are going to be around the solar farm and in the area. So really just a huge planned community, all built around this 9,000 acre area.
Yeah, and I love the idea of this, and I hope we see more of this around Kansas City too, because you can go downtown and try to retrofit what's already there to try to make your business work, or you can just go on the outskirts and create your own downtown exactly how you need it, exactly how people live today. A lot of us can work from home, but want to still be close to the action, and the nice new stuff. It's just a clean, fresh look that's environmentally friendly and easy to get around. I'm super excited.
Yeah, it is true, because Kansas City is a car city, and we've mentioned that in a lot of our videos. Is it's highways, you got to drive to where you're going, but a lot of what's being done in the city center of Lenexa and is trying to be replicated here is something that's more walkable, where you can work and live and be entertained and go shopping and all that stuff right in your community. And so I'm excited to see how this turns out.
Yep. It's just said Kansas City, drive-in city, pretty easy to get around. In fact, you can get almost anywhere in Kansas City within about 45 minutes. Hey, if you're interested in joining Panasonic, they've made it really easy to apply. Their job portal is live now, and we'll provide a web address on the screen and in the video description below.
And don't forget about the tax revenue. DeSoto stands to gain millions annually, which will be reinvested into public services, schools, parks, and infrastructure projects to support the growing community. This is a transformation for a city that's long been considered a quiet little suburb.
One of DeSoto's standout features is its highly rated school district, which consistently ranks among the best of Kansas. In fact, I think it comes in at number 2 right now.
Number 2, it sure does. The DeSoto School District, also known as USD 232, not only serves DeSoto, but also big parts of Lenexa, Shawnee, and even a little bit of Olathe. It's known for its top-tier academics, extracurricular programs, and strong community support. Okay, yeah, here's Mill Valley High School, located in Shawnee. It's one of the district's 2 high schools and offers incredible variety of advanced placement courses, athletics, and art programs. Over here, we have DeSoto High School, which is right in DeSoto and has a similar reputation for excellence.
For middle schools, you'll find Lexington Trail Middle School and Monticello Trail Middle School, both serving as important stepping stones for students in the district. Elementary schools like Riverview and Prairie Ridge are strategically located across the area to accommodate families in both urban and suburban settings.
And what's great about DeSoto School District is how it combines small class sizes with big opportunities. Families moving to the area often cite the schools as one of the top reasons for choosing DeSoto, Lenexa, or Shawnee. So what about these surrounding cities? Lenexa and Shawnee are bracing for their own booms. Businesses are already positioning themselves to serve the growing population, and we're seeing plans for new shopping centers, entertainment venues, and even expanded healthcare facilities.
Infrastructure improvements are another big piece of this puzzle. The Kansas Department of Transportation is working on upgrades to the highways like K10.
Plus, there's a lot of chatter about other major companies eyeing the region. Projects like Panasonic's tend to create a ripple effect, attracting suppliers and tech firms to collaborate or benefit on the proximity. If you're a homeowner in Kansas City, this is an exciting time to see your property values rise.
All right, so real estate, right? So if you're going to be moving here, we've got all these new jobs coming into this area. We're going to looking for a house or a place to live. No doubt there's going to be more competition. And this goes back to Econ 101, right? The law of supply and demand. So if we have more people that want to be in the area, the prices are going to go up. Kind of starting to see that now. Panasonic's already hired quite a few people, and people are starting to transfer in this way. They don't plan to go live until early 2025. So there's still a lot of people that haven't gotten here yet, and there's going to be some locals that are applying as well, but we're also already starting to see that pace kind of pick up. So what we expect is, Max just talked about that the rental inventory around the area, they're building a lot of new apartments and really high-end apartment complexes all over to help service that kind of initial flood of people. But housing is kind of going around we're seeing a lot of that in housing as well. But you don't only have to be in DeSoto. Like DeSoto is a really tiny footprint. So if you are coming into this area and you Google search like housing in DeSoto, we're talking about like 13 square miles, a really small footprint, but really there are a lot of great areas around DeSoto that you should be focused on as well. They're going to be short commute times. You're talking like, 15, 20 minutes if you get into Lenexa or West Shawnee or even Olathe. So there's a lot of options. Those are well-established cities that are some of the best cities in Kansas City to live in. So don't cut yourself short and just look at DeSoto and be like, oh man, there's only 30 houses on the market. What are we going to do? Because there's options everywhere.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so as far as single-family homes go for purchase, you can see here, I've pulled up everything in DeSoto School District, and if you, to give you a little perspective of the active homes for sale, there are only 16 in DeSoto, or 15. There were 16 yesterday, so somebody bought one. But they range from $500,000 to $1.6 million in the city of DeSoto. And there's one pre-MLS that's coming soon in Timber Lake. But if you look at the other areas, Lenexa has, 20. Olathe has a few, and then primarily DeSoto School District is made up of Shawnee. So there's probably 60 homes for sale in Shawnee, and some great subdivisions, Canyon Lakes. The Timbers at Clear Creek is a good subdivision in Lenexa. But if you want to be right in DeSoto, this Arbor Ridge is a really popular subdivision. And then if we click out in the map view, it kind of shows you here that DeSoto is clear over here on the river, and then all of this Gray Oaks is a fantastic subdivision, but all of this here, this area is Shawnee, and to the south we have Lenexa, and then I believe Olathe must be this down here in the Cedar Creek, a few little houses down there. But if we zoom out, just to give you a little more perspective on what we're talking about for Kansas City, we're right out here in this area. So DeSoto has always been out here, kind of halfway out to Lawrence, and a little quiet, sleepy town, but is right by Overland Park, which is one of Kansas City's biggest suburbs. And I believe what we're going to see is this kind of blur into Overland Park. Because of this development, it's really going to put DeSoto on the map as more of a hub in Kansas City. But currently we have 115 homes on the market. And so lots of options, basically ranging from, if we go back and don't sort it as city, but if we sort it as price, the least expensive home for sale is a 2-bedroom, 3.5 bath for $310,000. And then the most expensive property is $2.5 million, a 4-bedroom, 6.7 bath, 2-story in Lenexa. So a huge range depending on what you want, ranging from properties that have acreage or properties that are in a subdivision. So tons of options for resale properties or new construction, really, too.
Right. Yeah. And that's something I think we're going to see too is locals that have maybe been wanting to do new construction, but that kind of worried about prices have been more along the lines of average appreciation this last year or two because interest rates have come up a little bit. So if we have some people that are nervous about they want to do that build job, but they just weren't sure about getting their house sold, now might be a great time to get into that. Usually a new build can take up to a year sometimes, depending on how big the project is. And knowing that a year and 2 years from now, you're going to have a lot of people that are still moving into Kansas City, especially the southwest corner of the city. So real estate is going to be hot.
It sure is. Yeah. I mean, if you're moving to the area, that's fantastic. We can definitely help you there. But maybe you're watching this video because you live in DeSoto and you are not thrilled about all of this development. You like the sleepy little town and, you live out on acreage and you don't like all the traffic and hustle and bustle. Now might be the time where properties values have been going up and you could get top dollar for your property with all of these new people moving to the area, the increase in demand. So if you're interested in seeing what your property might be worth, then we'd be happy to meet with you and give you a little perspective there as well.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of situations here in the next 2 years where there's going to be a lot of win-wins it's just kind of depending on your goal. The good thing about if you're new coming into the city is you probably don't have a specific subdivision, so you can find a couple that really fit the bill and you can negotiate the best price because you don't really know anybody anyway, so you don't care if you land in this subdivision that has the same amenities as this subdivision. So it gives you a little more power and leverage as far as your negotiations. And then on the sell side too, that we've just got a more influx of demand. So there's going to be more buyers and more opportunities. So DeSoto's housing market is heating up, but there's still places where you can find great value before these prices catch up. So that's what Max is going to show us right now.
Yeah, really, once you get outside of DeSoto, like we mentioned earlier, it's really only about 45 minutes to anywhere in Kansas City, which is great because of the highway system. But when you get out of DeSoto, here's a little search here on the MLS. Not too far from DeSoto are both Gardner and Bonner Springs. Bonner Springs doesn't have a ton on the market right now. We're coming out of the winter, so our inventory levels are low in general. But Gardner has quite a few. Spring Hill is also another little area on the south side of Olathe that can be a little more affordable. And then on the north side of DeSoto, up here in Leavenworth County, you have both Lansing and Leavenworth, which are Leavenworth is as a prison there, and it's kind of the whole town is built around that and a military base, and it's a very affordable in Leavenworth. Now it's a little bit of a jaunt from Leavenworth, but certainly Gardner would be a good option. It's also a little more rural, so if you're wanting to get out of DeSoto from all the hustle and bustle and head on this north side of Gardner, you could find some acreage properties that are still in proximity. But if we click on the results page, you can see here the price ranges. So Bonner Springs, typically you're able to get in there. The median price point isn't super representative here, but they're ranging from 200 to 1.5, and then Gardner has a nice reasonable price point. This one at 189 is just a 2-bedroom, but you've got 3 bedrooms ranging in the 300s, quite a few of them in the mid 3s, and then there's a ton of inventory there, ranging up to looks like 1.1 on the high side for Gardner. And then Lansing has a few properties. Usually you can get a pretty reasonable price point in Lansing from 200 to 400. And then you can see what I mean about Leavenworth, where the price points, you can find several homes in the mid 100s, which is nearly impossible to do in the Kansas City Metro. So if you're willing to take a little bit more of a drive time and live in Leavenworth, then that may be an affordable option for you. So that's the big reveal. There are options.
So yeah, There are lots of options because average price point right around DeSoto and in Johnson County. So DeSoto is in Johnson County, and that's one of the KC Metro's area's most prestigious counties. So the average price point that you're going to be bumping into in those areas is going to be right around that 500,000 to 700,000, I would say, to get into some decent turnkey stuff that most people are living in those areas. Of course, the sky's the limit there. We're talking Johnson County, so $3 million, as you saw earlier, is also on the table. But if you are looking for more of those affordable areas, going a little bit to the north or a little bit to the south, there's a lot of options. So I think that kind of sums up the real estate around this amazing new plant and Astra Park that's being developed right now here on the west side of Kansas City.
Yeah, and this is just one of many projects that are going around in Kansas City. So we will have other videos on some of the developments occurring in Kansas City. There's a lot of excitement going on. We've got the World Cup coming. Lots of developments are happening in Kansas City.
Yeah, so make sure you subscribe so you stay tuned to what's coming and what's going on right here in Kansas City with new developments and the real estate world and just what it's like to live here. So thanks for watching, guys, and we hope to see you on the next one.
Yes, sir.